Oh boy, it's warm outside and everybody seems to be thinking about pumpkin season again, including me. Here where I am, it's about 60. It feels like 65 out at least. Maybe more when you're in the sun. The sun feels pretty warm today. So here's the whole garden and pumpkin patch area. So last year, my main plant was over here and actually didn't even take up this whole spot. It was like half of this. It was like half of the what do I call it? The length here, and it was on that other side, and took up about maybe, I don't know, 20 to 30 feet, something like that. This year, here's what we're going to do. And you see, okay, and the stuff that I planted here, that's winter rye. Now, I know when you do a cover crop, normally it's because you're leaving a part of the patch alone for an entire year. However, I was never going to do that, but I did want to plant some grass, some sort of beneficial grass or something, just to keep the other weeds and crabgrass from taking over. So that way, you know, when it comes time, I'll just mow all this down and till it up. But I have extended the patch. You can kind of see here where the extension began, where there was old sod, right about here. And I've added maybe 15 feet, something like that. Another 15 feet, same width. So, you know, originally it was like, oh, okay, well, then I'll do two plants, one here, and then do the garden on the other side. Well, then I got to thinking, this dirt has never been used for gardening or anything yet. So I said, why the heck am I doing that? Why don't we just go over here to the other side where a lot of different things were planted. There's some leftover fruits on the ground. It's probably got some nutrients going in the soil. And what we'll do is we'll plant the giant pumpkins on this side this year. Now I do have to be careful though, because at the very edge here I have my line of asparagus, and some of you may know that asparagus is a perennial, so I can't move that. That's going to come back up where I put it. So this little section, this little side right here I can't do. But then we're going to go two plants, the full width, maybe about, I'll give them about 20 feet or so. That way, you know, the secondaries can extend roughly 10 feet or more. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe, well, wait, actually, no, 20 feet. I was going to give them, yeah, 20 feet apiece. I can't think too straight right now. I've been, as you can see, I'm raking some of the debris out. So we'll do two plants here and then use the rest of that for just the general garden stuff. But this has all been used, so that way I can take a soil test from this area and it's all going to be about the same, because if I take it from here, whatever I end up getting here is not going to be the same as the unused dirt over there. So I want to have somewhat consistency when I get the test back and have to add some amendments. I know some people have been doing this long enough they really don't need the soil test anymore, but I still do, because I don't know what I'm going to be in for here after having planted stuff here. So we'll see. Hopefully the pH has remained in the high 6 range, maybe even a little bit lower would be fine. But as you can see here, all this matted down stuff here, this is where the crabgrass was. Now, of course, I'm going to rake all of this out, but I have to rake it out because if I get it caught in the tines on my tiller, it's gonna get clogged up and start to overheat. So it's better if I get, you know, this extra stuff, and it rakes out pretty well when it's dead. So we'll rake all this out, pull out some of the old plants. Those are all my old the pepper plants, and a lot of leftover fruits came off of those because we didn't end up using them all, which is fine. And that's probably a good strategy, you know, if you have a garden like this where you know, you're growing giant pumpkins, but then you're growing general purpose stuff on the other side. Maybe you just alternate sides, you know, every year. So that way, you know, if you have a bunch of unused fruits, just go back to the soil and return some nutrients. Probably not a bad idea. But yeah, I got to get these piles. This is where the sunflowers were. We're not going to grow sunflowers here. I'm probably going to do like a strip, maybe like a kind of a skinny strip right here. She wants to plant the flowers on this side of our fire pit area. So that'll probably work better, and I'll just replant grass there. So yeah, that's the plan. Get 2 plants going. I don't know what seeds yet. Depends on what seeds I end up with. I have some left over from last year, and hopefully I'll be getting some from our new state record holder. He's pretty sporty about growing pumpkins, and he doesn't mind giving out seeds, especially to the people who are in the club. So I would imagine I'll be getting some 2054s, or you know, at least a few to start. So we'll probably grow that. I wouldn't mind growing the 1739 again because it did so well until it got what was probably yellow vine disease and just stopped growing. If it hadn't stopped growing, would have ended up maybe going to 1,600 pounds or so, but only ended up with right around 800 when it was taping, and then it was off the vine for about a month. Ended up weighing in at 746. Lost some water weight there. I doubt it was just going to go light. That wouldn't make sense in terms of the genetics, but yeah. Also, same problem as last year. The water tap is way up there between those 2 bushes, and so I'm gonna have to bring the hose down here. And I think I'm gonna have a pump. We're gonna do a booster pump, so we can have at least a couple sprinklers running, and also hopefully with the higher water pressure, it'll be able to push the water a little bit further. And I won't need to like spread them out. I won't have to have like multiple sprinklers all over the place just to get coverage. And then, you know, the general purpose garden, probably I just hand watered that with a hose. That's no big deal. That stuff grows pretty well. But this is the giant pumpkins are obviously the things that need the extra help. Okay, so yeah, we'll see how it goes.